Plus, what happens in the chef's kitchen should not stay in the chef's kitchen. We need to know about it because we're eating it. And now some of the darkest secrets of the restaurant industry are being revealed. I've got the dirt.
This is News 10 at 9.
Rule number 1, wait until you've eaten your food before you complain about something.
And if you need to send something back, be very polite.
Very nice.
Maybe even compliment the waitress.
Very nice.
I like those earrings.
Yes.
All of that doesn't matter with some of this stuff I'm going to tell you.
Snap.
We'll find out. Good morning to you on this Tuesday. It's July 16th. I'm Dan Elliott.
And I'm Kiba Arnold. Good morning to you, Jeff Maher.
Good morning to you.
Can't wait to hear stuff we need to know.
It's just better to eat at home, make your own stuff,
Right.
and never go out.
Well, you haven't seen what happens in the store either, young man. You know?
I guess grow your own food.
There you go.
And Rob, good morning to you.
You know, being polite really does cover a lot of ground because you never know. Jeff, can't wait to see that story.
Please and thank you.
Yeah, maybe I'll regret that. I bet there's some
So on
nasty
Friday,
stuff
if
coming
we
up.
say, could you please give us a nice forecast?
No.
When we go to a nice restaurant, most of us assume that the food is handled properly and that
Right.
nothing is happening in the kitchen that would gross us out.
But according to a new book out, there are plenty of chefs that have dirty little secrets. Jeff, do we want to hear this?
That's what I was going to say. Would you rather just skip this segment and
Ignorance
not know?
is bliss,
Well,
right?
the key thing is the chef's saliva. I'm not real crazy about that.
Yeah, and
the special, that's
we're
the
going to get
special.
into that. But
Yeah.
first, let's go over some of the things that we've seen pop up recently. Remember this guy? Pizza delivery man?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sampling the toppings
Just
in
a
the
few
elevator.
pepperoni.
8 pieces of pepperoni on his way to make the delivery, then closes it up, presumably makes the delivery. Well, that doesn't really count because we're talking about restaurants, right? Well, what about this next clip? This is a police officer.
Deputy Bilsma ordered a Whopper, but he says the drive-thru worker was acting suspicious. So the officer lifted the burger, and sure enough, he saw what looked like saliva. He tested the DNA, and he got a match.
I was going to
No
say, this is a
way.
police officer who discovered spit in his Whopper.
Yeah.
He was smart enough to recognize that the worker was acting suspicious and did some testing and found that. I should mention that I actually did a story once where a couple of fast food employees put marijuana in an officer's burger and they got caught. And that became a national story. Now, this next clip, and I should mention that was a fast food restaurant. You know, we've showed the pizza delivery guy, fast food restaurant. What about an actual restaurant that you go and order something? Well, take a look at this. A couple of employees messing around. The customer is right there on the other side of the register and ordering milk and a sandwich. Very simple. That employee steps off camera. He is urinating in the glass of milk. And then with the sandwich, well, they start putting the mayonnaise on. And then in a second here, you're going to see that employee with the beanie, spits right there in the sandwich with the customer standing right there. And then they wrap it up and hand off this food to this poor guy who ordered that milk and sandwich. And then you see the guy actually start biting into his sandwich, and they think it's so hilarious
That's awful.
that they're seeing this happen. Look there, he's biting into the sandwich on the other side of the register.
Well, you know
They
what,
did
Jeff,
this with their backs turned.
It's been going on for years. I remember back
Yeah.
in high school hearing stories from people who worked in fast food restaurants and some of the things they did. The difference now, though, is it may get caught on camera.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. Or it might be written in a book. Author Imogen Edwards-Jones has basically lifted the lid on the reality of the food industry. She went around the country and talked with some of the top restaurant owners and got all the secrets, all the dirt. And as part of this book, she listed 20 dirty secrets from the restaurant industry. I'm going to list a few of them. You ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. From this list, let's start with what you want to know, Dan, about the saliva. Number 1, all restaurant food will contain the chef's saliva,
Yep.
as the same spoon is used to sample dishes. Quote, the chef has tasted and sampled, picked and tweaked, gobbed and re-gobbed everything on your plate. I'd like to think not.
No.
Does the chef really sample every single dish that comes out?
Well, but even if they don't, you ever been in a restaurant and behind the scenes, if they're cooking a steak, they'll touch it to see, how cooked it is. So they're
So if it's
touching
not
it, too.
spit, it's actual touching of your food.
Yeah.
Number 5, specials are often simply dishes restaurants are desperate to get rid of. Number 6, top restaurants keep a little black book of rude customers. Goes back to what you said about being polite to your waiter.
Plus, if you were ever a waiter, you remember the rude ones. You remember them.
Right, and if you're a waiter, you remember this. Number 7, waiters use special tactics to disguise delays. So they come back and say, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm checking on that chicken. It's going to be out in just a second. No, he's actually purposely delaying it for some reason. He doesn't like you. Number 14, Kiba, your looks may determine the table you get.
Big time.
Okay.
Can you believe that?
You'd get a good table there.
That's
you,
have
Jeff.
you gotten some good service?
Yeah, I try to be very polite. I eat out a lot, and I try to be very polite.
Number 16 on the list, if you go and you order a bottle of wine, you only drink half of it.
Oh,
The
I know this
restaurant
one.
will sell that by the glass the next day. So they don't dump it out.
Well, some of them you can take it with you. Not all,
Right.
but some you can, yeah.
And we should also mention, check your bill, because in this book, the author said that one of the things that these restaurants do is they might say, okay, water's free, but they'll tack on that bread charge, and you thought the bread was free. So check your bill, because some of the things that you think are free, well, the restaurant makes up for it in other ways.
Also look for the tips, because some places will have a mandatory tip. If you have a party more than
Right,
6 or 8, they do it.
18%.
And the people will not know that, and they'll tip, and you'll get double tip.
Yeah.
So pay attention.
Oh, Jeff.
Rob, are you disturbed by all this?
Yeah.
I am now, Jeff.
The good news
more
is,
eating
Rob,
out.
the only restaurant you're going to be going to for the next 8 years is Chuck E. Cheese.
Right, there
that's
you go.
true.
Well, all right.
Let's just say this, like the guys that spit on the burger, if they're not wearing like the full outfit, they got a beanie on and the baggy pants and the whole thing, they're probably not going to be that great to your food. I'm just saying, they're not wearing the standard uniform, your food isn't going to be standard either.
And if they're
I
laughing
hope
while
that's
they
not
hand it
true.
to
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Something's
Nothing's
wrong.
funny about working in those restaurants.
You
If
think
they're
maybe
laughing,
this is
something's
why
wrong.
sushi's so popular now? Because you can watch the guy do
Right.
it all right there in front of you?
And Subway and Quiznos.
Or even like
I-
a Chipotle, they're making
Yeah.
it right
Yep,
there.
I love seeing it made.
Yeah.
Or at least the buffet. I can handle the buffet.
Thanks for grossing us out.
Yeah, there
Jeff.
goes lunch.
Thank
Yeah,
you
no
so
problem.
much. Yeah, Michael Kors, he's not happy with them. We're very happy with Mr. Jeff Maher, though. We always love
Are
these
you
moments.
today?
Always, every
Okay.
day.
I have an update on Google Glass. You guys can't get enough of it, right?
Right.
You can't get enough.
I've done about half a dozen of these,
Yeah.
but I know you are going to be excited about this, Mr. Raiders fan. Take
Okay.
a look.
You ready? Set.
Here's what a pass to an NFL wide receiver looks like through Google Glass.
Okay, Glass. Download Tavon Austin highlight film.
And here's that play through a wide receiver's point of view.
That'd be the St. Louis Rams, featured on a report recently by ESPN featuring Google Glass. You know, they may start using this, and this is going to change POV, point of view, as we know it. We already have more access to the field than ever before with those cameras that swing over the field on the wires on Monday Night Football. This would change everything if they can wire a POV Google Glass camera
Can you believe it?
so that we can see it.
I would like to see the ref's point of view. So sometimes when they make the call, then that way you could see what they were seeing, right?
What they saw.
At least
That's
they get some sympathy,
interesting.
maybe.
Can you imagine seeing some of those hits from that perspective?
No, it'll be terrific. I mean, you already see it in the games. You know, Madden, you get all the different angles.
Right.
And now, if
Right.
we
This
get it
is
in the
real
actual
life.
broadcast, it'll be even better. We're looking forward to that. You're right.
On that same sports note, Carly Rae Jepsen, "Call Me Maybe," Rob's favorite song. He's downloaded it.
It's my ringtone.
Yeah,
Right,
it's your
we're going to
ringtone.
put that in sports?
You know, well, she's maybe good at singing, not so good at throwing.
Here is the first pitch of the ball game. Carly Rae Jepsen. This is all I'm going to tell you is you're going to have to go back. She gives it a great effort here, but you're going to have to go back to 2009. The official belt holder for the worst ever
See how she
first
had the
pitch
whole
of a
hand
ball
wrapped
game
around
was
the ball,
Baba
though, Jeff?
Booey.
It kind of stuck
But
to
she
her
started
hand.
off, it looked like
Yeah.
she was going to, do well.
No.
She had a little form.
Awful.
All we know is
Just
this: if
awful.
she'd been throwing baseballs at Melissa Crowley at the dunk tank the other day, Melisa'd be bone dry.
She would.
Yeah. Yeah.
She tried, right?
Yeah, well, the announcer was saying that she was throwing strikes up to that point. And something
really?
went wrong.
Yeah.
Something went wrong.
She's going to be on Ellen today. Maybe she'll explain what happened.
That'll be good.
Yeah, maybe
We
she'll
will
get
have to
razzed about it.
see.
Yeah.
And a final check? Nice today?
Yeah, enjoy today because we know what's happening after this. So 80s today, low 90s tomorrow, and then close to 100 by Thursday. We stay there all the way through this upcoming weekend.
All right, remember you can always check for the latest news on news10.net. And we'll see you back here in about an hour for News 10 Midday.
News 10 is everywhere you want to be.